So it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and things not going according to plan.
Oh my goodness.
What's up, junkies? Welcome back to another episode of the RE Junkies podcast. We've got Austin Rutherford again with us today, and he has agreed to join us for a bonus episode. Now, for those of you listening at home, you know the rules. And Austin, we're going to give you 3 prompts here in just a second. We'll have you pick one, and then we'll dive into a case study, and we'll really get into the weeds of one of your deals. So
Perfect.
the rules here are pick one of these 3 prompts. Number 1 is, what was your hardest deal or a horror story? What is your most successful deal? Or 3, what is the craziest story you have in real estate? Which one are you picking?
Let's go the hard way.
All right, let's go the hard way. Let's hear it, man. Let's dive in.
Yeah, so it was a deal. It was probably like 5 years ago. I have like a bird dog kind of like in the neighborhood, and I bought a few deals off of him. Called me. He's like, "Hey, I got the 6-unit apartment complex in one of my favorite neighborhoods." I was like, "I'm in. Let's go." And walked the property, met with the seller multiple times. Met with the seller, and they wouldn't budge on the price. And I was sitting there. I was like, I just don't know if I should do this. This is the biggest deal that I've done to date. And ended up calling a buddy of mine, and he's like, "Man, like 5 years from now, you're gonna thank yourself for buying that piece of property." I was like, "All right, I'm buying it." And it was a $500,000 purchase, and so I raised $500,000 from a private money lender to fund it. And basically, this is what makes it hard, right? The complications of it. So I bought it because it was mid construction, right? So somebody, the previous owner, had permits on the property, and they were through drywall on 3 of the units and through roughs on the other 3. They just weren't drywalled yet. So basically, all mechanicals are done, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So before buying it, I went to the city and I sat down with somebody from every department: plumbing, electric, HVAC, framing, installation, etc. We all sat at a round table, all same room, right? And I was like, "Hey guys, like, I'm buying this property. Here's the permits. Here's the plans. They're already on file with you guys. When I buy this, can I transfer the permit and complete the work?" And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely. Transfer the permit. You'll be able to just finish it from there." I was like, "Beautiful. Perfect."
Awesome.
So I bought the house, and there was like one update I had to do. It was going to take like 3 weeks or something super, super simple, right? And so bought the property, and I only raised the purchase price because I knew I had like another month to raise the rehab, and I didn't want to pay the interest for that month. So bought the house. And it was like one updated drawing or something, super simple. Submitted the updated drawing, submitted the permit change order thing, and a couple weeks later, got transferred to me. Perfect. Went back to my private lender. I think I raised it was $350 or $400,000 in rehab to renovate the property. Started work. 10 days later, stop work order. I was like, all right, like, this has obviously got to be a mistake. And called the city. I was like, "Hey guys, like, you put a stop work on. What's going on?" They're like, "Yeah, the permit expired." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks." So like, do I just, file $200 and get another permit, like just reissue, like recertified or whatever? They're like, "Yeah, come on in, we'll do it." Cool. Went in, had my little checkbook, did it. And they're like, "Unfortunately, we can't reissue the permit because these plans were from the previous codes before the codes were updated. So actually, you can't use these plans. You have to redraw all plans," which is 6-unit is commercial. So you got to do whole different types of case studies. And by the way, you got to rip out everything that was already done.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So
that little checkbook should have been the big checkbook.
Like, to a whole nother level, right? So they stopped the work. I think it was like 20 or 30 grand to get new plans done, which with that, it took like a month or 2 to draw the plans. So I'm paying, what's 900 grand at 16% interest? That's, I don't know, 10, 15 grand a month in interest payments.
Easy.
So They froze the job for those 2 months. Then I submitted the plans, and I'm like, "Yo guys, like, at minimum, can you put me at the top of the pile? Like, come on." Like, the same guys I talked to at the table previously were the same individuals. I'm like, "Guys, like, you were sat here with me." And they're like, "Hey, sorry, man, I don't remember that conversation." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh my.
And so I submitted it, and they put me at the bottom of the pile. And then they asked for an update, and then we resubmitted it a month later, put me back at the bottom of the pile. So the job was froze for like 6 or 7 months, paying $10,000, $15,000 a month in carry cost. And then I had to rip out all the stuff that I put back in. So it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and things not going according to plan.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think there's another job that comes with automatic amnesia as there is with working at the fucking city.
Facts.
I mean,
Utility companies and cities.
honestly, dude, I'm like every single thing I've gotten to the point where every single thing, every conversation with the city must be in an email or some form of writing because they don't like you can't go back and trying to fight them is a worthless battle. I mean, that will just like you might as well just bang your head against the wall because they'll probably feel better. Um, and even if you have it in writing, sometimes they're like, "Sorry, tough shit.
Yeah.
Things change." You know.
Agreed.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I think my biggest takeaway is what you just said. I should have gone home after that initial meeting, say, hey guys, just to recap, I'm buying this on blankety blank date. I can transfer the permit and I can complete the job. Please confirm. Yes. So that's my takeaway. I should have done that, right? Now, if I didn't go in and do my due diligence and have that conversation before buying and then they shut it down, like that's on me, right?
Absolutely.
But I was like, guys, like we literally sat at this table. Like it's got to be a joke. So
Right.
yeah, it was tough. Finally got through it. Completed it, then refinanced it with the bank. Appraisal came back where we wanted it to. It was a good deal at first. After all that stuff, it wasn't the greatest. So on the refi, I think I had to go raise like another $100,000 to fund like our down payment, quote unquote, because I wasn't able to do the full Burr method because I had to pay so much and everything else. But since then to this day, like it's one of the greatest rental properties. And like 2 weeks after buying it, they announced a $20 million development literally across the street. So like it's going to be, and I've already ran numbers on it. I can tear it down and put 27 units on it, I think. So like once that the development's in motion right now, it took a few years to get going, but once it's all stabilized and done, I'll probably tear it down, put up 27 units, and it'll be one of the best investments probably I've ever purchased. So it all worked out, but in the moment, no bueno.
Yeah. Now, was the zoning and anything? Obviously, that project across the street wasn't announced, but was the zoning anything that you looked at as far as ability later on? Like, did you know that you could tear it down and rebuild?
No, I
Okay.
had zero clue. Like this is still kind of like when I was greener.
Yeah.
So I didn't even understand like the capacity of like rezoning and like all these other crazy things. Because like looking back, I should have tore it down because we've had water issues, we've had drainage issues. Like it's literally my buddy, one of my contractors. I texted him like every week there's something issue, and he was like, "Bro, I'm about to light this building on fire." So it will pay off. But like looking back at the beginning, if I'd have known all that stuff, I probably would have tore it down and built, right from the jump. But I put so much money into it now. It doesn't make sense quite yet to do that.
I was gonna say, well, it'll probably be better anyways, waiting these few extra years now because you've got better comps across the street for for apartments and things. And honestly, the plan you probably had would have paled in comparison to what they're building across the street, and you would have gotten kind of screwed on that 27 units if you did it early, right?
Yeah, so they're putting like a whole market. It's got like 15 restaurants in it. There's 3 other restaurants outside of that. There's a 200 unit, 6-story apartment complex going literally like it's my building, the alley, 200 units.
Wow.
And they're doing 6 stories. So, that's what allowed me to put in more units because now I have, I forget the word, but like they did it, so I can do it type of thing.
Kind of
So
grandfathered in.
Yeah, that. So I can do 6 stories now instead of, 2. So it will make sense. We just still getting there.
Yep. Well, and if it's like any other apartment complexes we know, then your tenants will love it because they won't pay for all the amenities, but they'll just get to walk over and use the pool next door, no matter how many times they're told to stop. So
Agreed.
we know,
Definitely agree.
we know how it goes. We know how it goes. No, I love that. Exactly. So now are you in the habit of checking zoning more often, like on buildings like that? I mean, single family, you're probably not really checking zoning to tear it down and build some 8-unit apartment building later. But
Yeah.
was that one of the lessons you learned?
Yeah, for sure. So I got a buddy, he's got a full like development company and stuff. So, anytime I get like land or, a house with a bunch of acreage or, corner lot or anything like that, I shoot it over to him like, yo, what can we do here? And, to see if, the house might not make sense, but, the development might make sense. So definitely something, that added to the the belt, whatever you want to call it. But it's a way to turn non-deals into deals and to turn okay deals into amazing deals. Going back to what you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that because exactly like you said, I think a lot of people would look at the house and be like, numbers don't pencil, like on to the next. But you're like, well, wait, let me look at this from a couple different ways. And even with that apartment complex, the 6-unit, I feel like I know a lot of investors who would just be like, oh, sucks. I'm just going to cut my losses and, maybe sell it, get out of it, whatever, didn't make the money I want to make on it. So kudos to you for doing the research and figuring out, oh, I can do this instead. And this is actually going to be one of the best deals of my life. When we literally came to this prompt with it being the hardest deal that you've had.
Facts. It'll be a great book at some point.
The Trouble with the City of Columbus. Just title it that and just case study all your deals.
They're building that complex next to me. So like they're saying my fence is not on my property. I'm like, okay, cool. Send me the proof. They're like, well, we don't have proof. We just think it is. I was like, well, you got this development has happening. So somebody surveyed it. They're like, we can't send it to you, but you need to tear the fence down and move it. I'm like,
no, sir. That's just not what's going to happen. Thank you for asking.
Like, this is and then I put a gravel pad for my trash cans. And they're like, you can't have a gravel pad. You got to put the trash cans in the grass. I'm like, who are we?
Right.
It's been nonstop.
Yeah. You want my tenant's trash leaking into the grass and the nasty. Yeah. It's going to turn to gravel eventually when the grass dies. Like, awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, any other learning lessons you want to share about that deal and how you turned it around?
Yeah. So this kind of, I just thought about this. So this played into it as well. So I had a contractor on that job, a 6-unit office building and 2 new construction houses. Same contractor on all of them. And I've never done a cost plus, which basically is like they run the project and then I pay them a fee on top of that, right? So there's no like real budget. It's like cost plus a fee. And I've never done it because you don't really have control of the budget. So did a couple projects with this guy. I was like, hey, this is going good. Let's do cost plus. Well, he came to me and I was like, I don't really know. And he kept pushing it. I'm like, all right, we'll try it. And over those 4 projects, I probably ended up losing $300,000-$400,000 grand on, what something should have cost versus what they paid. Because again, they have no incentive to keep the price down, right? Like I remember one time on one of the buildings, they had a brick mason come back at 7 times different during the job. It all could have been done once, but they decided to pay him $1,000 here, $3,000 there, and then $7,000 over there versus just paying them one time for $5,000, right? They just didn't think ahead. And there's another project. All we did was pop the top on half of a second floor, half, not even the full second floor, half of it. It was $70,000 for framing and framing material. $70,000 for a 1,400 square foot house. And again, that's not building the whole house. That's popping the top on half of the house. And I was like, this is a $10,000, maybe $15,000, 70 racks. So yeah, lesson learned, if you're doing cost plus, figure out some other things to put in there. But yeah, I did not have good experience with that. And probably wrong person anyways. But yeah, it was not a good lesson for me.
Every single time we have done cost plus, it has ended in just a nightmare. Like, like you said, overages. And then, they're like, well, I'm getting paid my 20%. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to be the only one getting paid on this job because you and your overages plus your, 20% or, whatever your percentage is, 10, 12, whatever. But you and your percentages are going to run this project completely dry.
100%.
And so you will be the only one getting paid. So I hope you have fun, because this will be our last project together. So I hope it was worth it.
Like, I mean, I can open up the yellow pages and call 1-800-ROOF. Like, if I wanted to do that, I'd have done that. Your job is to keep the budget down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're a GC. Like, bring me some value here. Bring me some contractors. And the worst thing that gets me, I don't know if you had this similar stuff, but like, as soon as they go cost plus, they become the most worthless project manager in the entire fucking universe. And it's like, what? Like all of a sudden you forgot how to, call subs in a timely manner. So now you got the house sitting empty for 4 days while they finish up a job. And then they come in. I'm like, we lost, how many hundreds of dollars or maybe a couple $1,000s in those 4 days where it was just sitting there empty. And then you come in with the most expensive dudes. Yeah. Like 1-800-ROOF. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, 100% agreed. Never, I haven't done it since, but it was not a good experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. So, all right, Austin. Well, we appreciate you sticking around for this bonus episode. And thank you all for joining us at home today. If you like this week's dose of the RE Junkies podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a crazy real estate story like this or a great case study, click the submission link in the show notes to be featured in an upcoming episode, and submissions can remain anonymous. We'll catch you junkies next time on the only real estate podcast of its kind.